بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الرحمن.
Disease, but he has since then been using it with his patients. He's still a practicing doctor. He's a very senior professor doctor who also is an ER specialist. So he's a kind of an all-rounder because he's an ER doctor. He has to know all the different, of course, medical knowledge in order to treat ER patients. You don't have time to wait for a specialist sometimes. So um, having been in that practice now for over 2 decades, having seen major disease, he has seen miraculous results when he's recommended this ultimate remedy. And now probably thousands of people from around the world have benefited from this and are spreading this message. Because his Babaji did not want any payment except that this be spread forward. And that is what Doc Saab does, and his patients and his students, that's what they do. They spread it forward for free. So the remedy, those of you guys watching us on Zoom through the link fhtjoy.com/shifa, SHIFA. On that page, we have a summary of the methodology, how to do the remedy. It involves listening to a chapter from the Quran called Surah Rahman. You can download the version that is recommended for this remedy. You can download it directly from that page. So all the instructions are there as well. This is a follow-up call, so we will not be covering the topics we covered in the first call. The first call replay is also posted on that same page, so if you want to, you can listen to that. It's a great call. You will get a lot of information from Dr. Saad. You'll get to know him. It's about 2.5 hours long, but you'll get a lot of great information. And for those of you that have been doing it, you can ask for questions. If you have a question regarding the methodology, you've been doing it and you have a follow-up question, you're welcome to ask those questions. I have in front of me the Zoom chat box, so I'll see that more often. But if we are broadcasting on Facebook and I get the message from Gretchen that we are, then I'll follow that as well, and you can post your questions there also. So the first question, welcome Dr. Saab, welcome back. Great to have you with us.
I can share your this link at Facebook as well.
Yes, you should be able to. Not the panelist link, Dr. Saab, that's for you only.
No, the link of Facebook which you shared with me at WhatsApp. The WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Which you sent me on the WhatsApp.
The Zoom. Yeah, the Zoom link.
On WhatsApp, you sent me for Facebook. You sent a link, and I share it on my Facebook page for other people.
That's fine. Yeah, that one also they can hopefully watch the live broadcast. Gretchen, I will broadcast. The Facebook group is, yeah. So we're going to begin, and I will start reading questions in a minute, but I wanted to start, Dr. Saab, with asking you, in the last talk, we didn't get to go too deep into your accounts of, I know you have seen thousands of people that have healed from chronic, times incurable diseases. If you can give a few examples, that would be great.
I'm happy you are listening me clearly, but I am not listening you clearly. I think there is some distortion in between, and I couldn't get your question. Some network problem, or maybe.
Yes, my network.
Yeah, it is coming. It is partly coming, and sometimes I can't hear the full sentence. So your question, can you repeat it for me?
Yes. Can you example from your patient that the serious disease or incurable disease?
Many serious patients and incurable patients in our particular ICU days, when last year I was working in medical ICU, and one of the patients in which I am myself astonished. He was riding a bike and he met an accident. He had a cervical vertebral injury with cord injury as well, with quadriplegia, and he was on ventilator. He was not able to move all his four limbs and he was having breathing difficulty. So he was on breathing support machine, comatose, with one right leg below knee was badly fractured, and it was an open fracture. So bones are almost outside. So in this condition, he was landed inside the medical ICU and he was in a state of shock. So his sister, I still remember, on day 2, she said that, "Doctor, you people are not taking care of my brother's leg, which is broken very badly and bruised, and they are only dressing it. Why they are not repairing it?" So when I spoke to the orthopedic surgeon and anesthetist, they clearly told me that, "Doctor, you know that this is a cord injury. He will not move maybe whole life. His all the four limbs are paralyzed, and he has to live his rest of the life maybe on the breathing support machine and on the bed. So we are just taking care of this wound and bone just as far as the dressing of the wound is concerned. But right at now, in this shock state, neither the anesthetist nor the surgeon was ready to have surgery on that limb, because they were not very much hopeful. At the same time, they were not ready to take this high risk on this gentleman who was already nearing death. So they were right medically, and they were just doing daily dressing and bandage and whatever. I told this to his sister, and she started weeping that I will ask Lord to send my brother back to this world with all the four limbs. And doctor, you people are playing this Surah Rahman in this ICU. So why can't my brother is cured? So I told him, yes, he can be cured. Lord can do anything. But we are talking science and medical limitations, and whatever the situation right now is. So this is the reality that the anesthetist and the orthopedician, they are not ready to take such a high, big risk. If you are ready to still push, if you still push for the surgery, they may operate on this gentleman with the informed consent, but it is a high risk case. So she said, you just tell me the method of this ultimate remedy and I will pray alongside my brother. And his brother was in coma. So we were daily playing Surah Rahman. And I have personally seen already his CT scan of the neck with very badly fractured C2 and 3 with cord compression. And as a doctor, we were not very much hopeful. And even if there was any recovery, it may have taken months and with only partial recovery. And he was totally dependent on the breathing support machine with comatose state and in a state of shock with blood pressure was supported by the drugs in the ICU. So only 7 days. And on the 8th day, the man was fully conscious and he was moving his limbs, and we took him off the ventilator with the collar, cervical collar. We have to repeat a follow-up scan, and we took him for the scan, and we all were so much surprised. The injury was not there, and the problem was that we were so much I can say that we were not ready to believe it. We have to investigate that either the first scan was wrong or this scan is wrong. They don't belong to the same man. Can you hear me?
Sorry
Are you there?
I'm here.
Sorry,
I'm here.
are you there?
I'm here. Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I am hearing you. So,
Dr. You just keep
sorry.
talking because the internet is really bad
Okay.
today. If I get disconnected, just don't mind me.
Okay. So, the, it was medically a physical proof of such a great healing and such an astonishing thing that we rechecked in the radiology that are they sure the scans belongs to the same man. But definitely, patient was having cervical injury, patient was having quadriceps, patient was having breathing problem, and now the patient was having all four limbs with very good power, with very good breathing effort, without any breathing support. And later on, the orthopedician has to operate on his leg, and the man walked out of that ICU within a month.
Wow.
So that one particular case and one another case of full-blown AIDS, that was also in our ICU with meningitis, with multiple drugs in the brain and the chest, with PCP pneumonia and full-blown TB, and CMV positive and other fungal meningitis or infection of the brain, and he was totally comatose and quadriplegic, also on the ventilator. And we applied the Surah Rahman on him. He was himself a spiritual guide for many other people, but now he was himself in a bad shape, and he also had this weird disease, a social stigma attached to it, and he was already very much, his family was down, that how he got contracted this thing. But a very humble man, but then these are all the later on things. When he landed in my ICU, he was in the coma state. And someone very sarcastically from medical side, my colleagues, they gave message to their juniors that tell Dr. Saab, now cure this AIDS. And he was a political figure as well. And in those days, by-election was going on in his area. And that man was politically very much influential. And government, or that time political government, he was very much interested in his good medical care in a government setup. So someone from the secretariat, he also came and from the admin side, and he said, Dr. Saab, your special message is you have to take care of the gentleman, or wo jo aap dam sham karte hain, wo bhi kar. And that annoyed me. That annoyed me, and I just subbed him that this remedy we are playing 3 times a day in ICU for all the patients. And many Muslims, they are not ready to accept it. They don't close their eyes. And sometimes non-Muslims, they accept it and they just close their eyes, and they, while lying on their beds, they just listen it. So I cannot push it to anyone. They are themselves spiritually such a strong family, and I can tell them. So the family started telling me, they were very humble people. They said, no, doctor, you tell us, we need our uncle back. And at least one of them, I don't know what happened on that day. One of them said, we want him fully conscious, at least maybe for a few days, because he has to decide certain family matters in his will, which are very much crucial. Otherwise, there will be a big legal problem. So he was begging for his life for a few days in that desperate situation, because the doctors who has shifted that man, they have already counseled them, then there is no hope. And he may not come back from coma, the state, the multiple diseases he was suffering at that time, and he was in a very, very shocked state and a bad state. So they gave him the full scenario, the situation, and bad prognosis news that this man may not regain the consciousness. So in that hopelessness, he just tell me that his prayer was only for few days, maybe for few hours. He has to sign certain legal documents. Otherwise, in our family, it will be a big problem. And he said, maybe, I don't know how he said maybe 5-6 hours or 5-6 minutes. I can't remember this thing, but I laughingly said that why you are not saying Allah that maybe 6 days or 6 months or 6 years. See, why you are saying only 6 minutes or 6 hours? Why not 6 months? Now I said, why not 6 months? So he said, what else could be fine? Are you sure that he can be cured? I said, nothing is impossible for the Lord. So he just keep on staring at my face and he said, what we have to do? And I said, just play this nearby him, but no other remedies. You people are yourself, I know Sayyads and very good spiritual masters of their area. So no other intervention during this.
No other spiritual intervention, right? They could
No,
do
no other
allopathy.
spiritual intervention. Yeah. This is what I said to them. So they said, okay, Doctor Saab. So 8th day, the man was conscious, and we started to taking him off the ventilator. So we usually, in medical language, we call it weaning. So slowly we were gradually taking the load off from ventilator and putting it back to him and seeing his response. When one of his near relatives, he was, I don't know, let's not go into the family politics, but he was continuously critical and not very much interested in his improvement. And he was always discussing with multiple doctors, and particularly to that doctor who sent that message at that time, asked him, now cure this man. So he always come and exchange the notes and always criticize me that why you are saying that this man can be off the ventilator. That doctor said that don't remove him off the ventilator. It will be you can say a very early decision, a hasty decision, and that might be a temporary improvement. So don't rely on it. Don't take him off the ventilator, because once he was off the ventilator, he can speak, and he had started moving his limbs a bit. And his other brothers were very much interested for some signatures, or I don't know, whatever their family matter was. So I think it was maybe 10th day, he was totally off the ventilator, but very much weak and lethargic, with some weakness in all 4 limbs, but fully aware of his surroundings. And the family was very happy. His brothers were very happy, or nephews, I think. And I told them that there should be no other spiritual intervention. Mm-hmm. They said, yes, Doctor, we agree on it. So 3 days passed on, and suddenly the man again collapsed, and we had to put him on the ventilator. When I went in ICU for rounds, he was on ventilator, and that other particular gentleman was standing there, and he said, Doctor, I told you it is a very hasty decision, and you should not have taken it. And why you are not getting PCR done? If the HIV is negative, show me the PCR. I said, okay, we can repeat the PCR. You have to pay it because it was not done in our hospital. And he said, okay, I am one of the leading labs in Pakistan, Arafan lab. He said, I want to get it from there. They were rich people. I said, okay, go there, take the sample. He took the sample, and at the same time, he said to me, but you explained why the man collapsed again. The other brothers who were very much different, I would say, different kind of people, they were very much depressed on that day. And they also said, me, doctor, what happened to our uncle? So I said, I am dead sure that spiritual intervention is again being done. And I think one of his colleagues or his mentor or some senior person, he did in our part of the world, they call it dam. And they admitted that, yes, his Murshid called, and this gentleman, he insisted that he should talk to him. And the Murshid on telephone did a dam on him, and later on he collapsed. Now, this is a bit spiritual talk. I usually do not go into this side of things, and I usually want to keep the things simple, allopathy, and only ultimate remedy, because I found you very much interested in spiritual healing or energy and aura and all these things, or fads.
Yes, and my audience actually understands that too. They get it.
That's it. That's why someone has sent me a message. that someone has sent me a message through you that she's having torticollis or cervical dystonia, and she or she is in a pain and with the difficult involuntary movements of the neck, and she has no cure up till now in medical language. And she or he is listening to Surah Rahman, and as per her observation, she did not felt any improvement. This is the question I think you conveyed to me today. So I will ask. Yeah. So I sent you the answer briefly. So anyways, come back to the main thing that they admitted this. So now they started asking me that, okay, this time we will take care of. And are you sure he's HP? I said, his fever got settled. His shock got settled. He's off the iron drops. His infections got at least controlled. He is on the healing side. And this sudden collapse is yet not explained in medical language. We have to do certain other tests and scans. But I told you people particularly that do not do any other intervention spiritually. Medically, we are already taking the care of that man. So they again promised me that, okay, this time we will strictly follow your commands.
Okay.
And that gentleman, he was very much interested in PCR of HIV and Western blot test, the two tests which are very much specific for HIV. We again took him off the ventilator maybe after 3 or 4 days. He was again, mashallah, fine. And his PCR, HIV, and Western blot both were negative.
Wow.
Now, before this all, he was having from the same lab and one other lab, 2 labs, his tests were all fully blown positive and are meeting all the criteria and a very bad shape and all these things. A very good ID consultant was taking care of him. Anyways, now whole the hospital, medical community was silent. And one of them spoke to the lab people that what nonsense you people did. Recheck your methodology. How come HIV and Western blot got negative or the criteria they are not meeting? Mm-hmm. So, to cut the long story short, the man was initially off the bed on wheelchair. Within 21 or 22 days, he was, for some time, we are letting him roam outside the ICU, and then he went home, mashallah. After 2 months, he came back walking on his leg to my that dua session, which usually I sometimes stand up in hospital. And he sat there, and I came to you to say thank you. I also went to your Babaji's shrine in Lilla, and I felt so much energy over there. And later on, I went to my Murshad in Islamabad, Golora Sharif is there. And I met my Murshad, and he is also very happy. And they sent greetings to you for helping me. And these young chaps, they don't know the delicacies of spirituality. And I am sorry if they teased you or anything like that, this discussion. I again told him few restrictions that you continue whatever you want to do, but just do not do these 1 or 2 things. And he agreed that, yes, you are right. I was doing these things just carelessly. So these are few spiritual things for his privacy. I will not disclose. So after 6 months, suddenly that nephew came to me. And he in that same place and same sitting of our dua session, he came, he met, he is a Sayyid, and he said, Dr. Saab, I am so much afraid. The 6 months completed, and I am so much in pain that why I said on that day that, okay, 6 months are fine. So now I came back to say that my Mamu will live and live and live a long life. I said, how can I say I'm an ordinary man? And that was just a crosstalk. And you were in so much pain and weeping, and you were saying maybe for a few minutes, maybe 5-6 minutes, he has to come back, regain consciousness and do something because some legal matter was there. So, and I said, why you are saying 5-6 minutes? Why you are not saying 5 months or 5 years? Well, at least say 5 months or 6 months. And are you agree? Do you agree if he is conscious after this remedy for 6 months, or he is fine with living with you? And you said, okay, fine. So that is fine. That was just a talk. It has nothing to do with any, I don't have any such powers. It is only Allah. And only He can do it. So, but that Sayyid, very nice person. Sorry?
Is the uncle still alive?
No, he died accidentally later on. But, I think maybe in a month of that meeting, after that meeting, just after 1 month, he died.
Accident.
And accidentally, I do not know the much details. Accidentally, he died. So I don't know. But these two stories I narrated to you as far as the spirituality is concerned. The third is very much viral nowadays, but it is in Urdu. You may have found it on YouTube or Facebook. Magician, black magician, he died in our ICU. And that story I have narrated in very much detail. We don't know that man was doing this jadoo or black magic. He was practicing. He was maybe 55 or near 60, and he was shifted in ICU in a deep coma state with unexplained fever for maybe more than a year, with persistent diarrhea and weight loss, and now with the chest infection, and he was in a state of shock and requiring the respiratory support. So all the lab tests in the past were negative, and he was investigated in various hospitals for his sickness. And that story I have already narrated in very much detail with medical records and all these things. So
tell me the title. What I'll do is, for my audience, I'll go listen to it.
It is with Urdu title is ICU में जादूगर का खौफनाक अंजाम, but on YouTube it is in English title. I will send you the title. Okay?
That would be great.
Yes,
And I'll do for you guys. I'll type it up.
That is in English.
Yeah, so I'll type it up and I'll send it to you guys. And
so that was also a worth loving experience of going unnatural or natural pathways once we are breaking the laws of nature or becoming so much negative. The main point, why do we get sick? The strange thing which attracted me towards that particular gentleman was that my doctor sent me in the night one short video that, sir, a very strange phenomena is happening. That 3 patient who was shifted 2 days back in ICU with this state of shock, and we were suspecting AIDS on him, and he was later on proven AIDS and TB, full-blown tuberculosis and AIDS. But she said, we have noticed since yesterday that whenever we play the Surah Rahman in ICU, many maggots started like flowing outside his nose, his eyes, his mouth, and even in his tube, which was in his windpipe. So I said, how come he is on ventilator and the tube is in his lungs? From where these maggots are coming? And why only during Surah Rahman, and where do they go after it? She said, sir, I am sending you a short video. In that short video, she just sent me a small dish in which the maggots are crawling. And she said, sir, these are the bugs. And her wife is accusing us that you people did not take care of my patient, my husband, and these maggots are due to you people's bad care of the patient.
And by this time, Dr. Saab, you didn't know he was a black magician.
No. We don't know. He was just another patient, and we were just treating him as a AIDS patient. Suddenly landed in ICU, accidentally diagnosed by us, which was previously in the previous record. He was missed by 1 or 2 hospitals. They did screening and it was negative, so they were treating TB or other diseases. But now we had this test with us, AIDS as well, and tuberculosis and other diseases, and this pneumonia, very bad pneumonia, and the brain infection. The patient was in coma. But these maggots were just another story. So I said, okay, you put off the Surah Rahman and you just notice it, and might be this is just a coincidence. Just notice this phenomena. What is going on? How you can say? She said, no, not only me, but the other staff nurses, they also noticed it, that once we start playing it, these maggots starts coming outside his nose, his eyes, and his mouth. So we are not sure from where they are coming. So medically, I told her that this is most likely the sinuses. Our bones, the face bones are hollow from inside. So they are there. And it is very poor, bad hygiene of this gentleman. And why they are particularly coming outside when you people are playing Surah Rahman. So that means that time they just leave him and they come outside. But once you people stop it, they again started their own work, whatever they are doing. So I think this man is in a big trouble, and we have to look into it. What else we can do? Call to ENT surgeon and other surgeons as well. The usual routine of our job in any hospital. The story unfolded because her wife was, and the strange thing was the wife was hardly 19 or 20, and the man was 55 or 60. And they're from poor or lower middle class kind of, they look in public sector hospital. Anyways, one of the staff nurses, she satisfied her, or rather counter-checked on her, that counter-attacked on her, that if you are accusing us that we are not taking this care of this gentleman and this is our bad nursing care, then how come the other 9 patients are in such a good state? This is this gentleman's disease, and he is already a patient of AIDS, and better you also get your test done that you are maybe already infected, and you should take care of it. And by the time I reached next day, that you can see, it will be a long story. I have already narrated in the video that how I explored this story, and then this lady admitted that this man was usually taking hefty amount of money, and many ladies and gents, boys, they were coming for their worldly wishes, and they have to go or do sajda to him. Then they have to do all the wrong things while reciting Quran, and in a filthy state, and doing the filthy, I can say, sexual perversion kind of thing, whatever she was narrating. And she admitted herself that she was wife of someone else, and she was doing relationship with this gentleman to have spiritual power on her actual husband. And she was having such a strong belief on this gentleman that this man's magic is so strong, he can do anything in the world. And I have seen Dr. Saab. She admitted in front of me. I don't know how much true she was. The man was lying in coma, and he died later on inside the ICU. But this phenomena we many times noticed, that whenever we play Surah Rahman, these maggots started coming outside from his mouth and neck, and it was such a horrible scene that many times our nurses refused to do the duty of the gentleman. They were usually not very much happy to take on that patient, but he died within 4-5 days.
I just want to take a minute here, because for my American and European listeners, this is not a very common concept, but people from Pakistan and India are very familiar with this concept of black magic practitioners, and how people go to them to ask for all kinds of things, including controlling somebody else's free will. Like this wife was trying to control her husband's free will, and then ended up being controlled by the magician herself. So this is truly a terrifying, horrifying story, that when you bend the laws of spirituality and you practice black magic, and Africa too, you're right. So somebody said Africa also, that just stay away from black magic. It's very scary. I will go and watch your video, Dr. Saab. There's a lot of questions we have, and I know you want to talk about also what is the root cause. Why do we get sick? Do you want to do that first, or do you want to cover the questions from people?
Let me talk a bit more on this. So it will answer many questions which they were asking.
Okay.
This black magic or white magic? This is all your mind power in your spirituality or your spiritual power. Okay. So your audience in even Europe or America, you said they might not be familiar. Let me simplify it. The same gun or the same Kalashnikov, it is in the hands of army men, but at the same time, it is in the hands of dacoit or a terrorist.
Yeah.
So the same gun, and the third one is person like me, a simple citizen, and the same gun he has, and he suddenly shoot himself as suicide, or he shot down someone else. So the same gun is being used by all the four people, by a commando, by an army man to safeguard his borders or his mother country land. The same gun is being used by a person to loot others or to terrify others or terrorize others. And same gun someone used to kill himself even or someone else. So it is the use of the same gun. So same energy is inside. The same energy which I called Allah or Lord or God or the super supreme power which is governing this universe. And that is the positive energy. The same energy, if it is less, if you go away from the light, you will be in more darker side. If you are going towards light, you are more brighter.
Yes.
So there is nothing like negative charge, it is less positive charge.
Yes.
And then you have to create the two poles. And the strongest pole and the weakest pole. The weakest pole is negative pole. We will say there is no, or the absence of light is the darkness.
Got it.
But we all know that even in the darkness, there are many shades of dark. Lighter dark and darker dark. So someone in dark, but still he is having some light over there. And then he may go into further dark space and there is absolutely maybe he become blind and blind at heart. So why do we get sick? And that gentleman, which I am mentioning, the black magician, it is extreme kind of negativity. It is the hatred and lust or envy or jealousy or prejudice or bias, you name it. All the things in any religion or in any country or in any culture, even an atheist, he will not like to listen or speak a lie. He will not appreciate it. So all of us being, this is our natural demand that we do not like all these negative attributes. If someone do this to us, so similarly, we should not do it to others.
Yeah.
You are understanding? So these negative attributes are the root cause of the diseases, we call it, or they decrease our energy basically. Mm-hmm. We are energy houses. We all have, which I gave example last time, that in your cell phone, sometimes you suddenly find it that it is updating. The company which has already sold this set and already took their money, they are still taking care of this set and they are sitting in far-flung area of the other part of the world, but through the internet, they are updating their gadget. And suddenly I found that the screen was saying 27 out of 427 apps are updated and your cell is updated. And I was surprised that I hardly use 27 apps. And my phone is having 427 apps and I am not very much aware of my own self. So similarly, this human being, it is having so many apps, so many energy points, so many power, I would say the power, the energy or the positive thought, it is all your thought process. If it is pure, it is positive, it is unconditional. It will be fearless. Once you are free from fear, you will be very near to God, a Lord, and this all can be possible only with love, but unconditional. Love is unconditional. Conditional
Can I
love
share?
is, I call it lust.
Can I, right here, I just wanted to stop you for a second because
Yeah.
the day we did our first call, next day, I found out that my daughter was corona positive. And I had been posting about being positive. I had been posting about, don't be scared, it's fine. And of course, when I found out that she was positive, she's 22 years old, mashallah, I immediately, for the first hour, it just grabbed me. The fear grabbed me. All those horrific stories of people losing their young children and suddenly dying and all of that. And she's not that healthy. We just moved from the US, so her immunity is not that strong. And she's already had typhoid and dengue as soon as she arrived in Pakistan. So I had all these worries, and the fear gripped me. So I did Surah Rahman. And then something very interesting happened, Dr. Saab. I submitted to God after I prayed. I went into sajda and I said, Ya Allah, these daughters were your blessings. They've been the best thing in my life, but they belong to you. I belong to you. I submit to your will. Whatever your will is, I will submit. But please have mercy. Have mercy on me. Have mercy on my daughter. Have mercy, give her shifa. That submission brought so much peace. And it was like you said, in my mind's eye, I'm in front of God when, before you start Surah Rahman, you go and present yourself in front of God. When I did that, I saw that my daughter is in my arms and I'm presenting her with me and I'm praying like that. And it was so beautiful. I had no fear after that. I was just calm, and
You surrendered it.
I surrendered her, I surrendered my will, I surrendered. And just like you said, that if I'm the mother and I'm feeling the pain, God is our mother. He loves us more than 70 mothers. And
More
he's
than
my
all the
daughter's mother
mothers.
too. Yeah, more than all the mothers. And it's
The
not just my
actual creator.
mother. Yeah. So I just surrendered everything to God. And it was just such beautiful calm and peace. And mashallah, she's doing well. She's recovered. She's probably just, few days until it will be negative. But that was a very profound experience that I had. And we had just done our call. So thank you. Thank you for that.
You got the experience, personal experience.
Yes.
And now this short message that why do we get sick is it's the extreme hatred or envy or jealousy or lust and negativity. And this weakens our soul, or its focus is not on the source of energy, the real source, the original master or creator or Lord or whomsoever you call him. If you are keeping well focused on him and always keep surrendered and submitted to him, that I am nothing, it is all because of you. And I belongs to you, and I am ready to come to you anytime. This is everything, nothing belongs to me. Everything is yours. So whenever you call me, in whichever form and whatever duty, I am ready, happy. So if you become zero in front of him only,
Yes,
he's always with you. He's always with you. And this is such a soothing feeling, that comfortable, soothing, and I would say such a big security that you become fearless. You have no anxiety and no depression. You have nothing to lose, and you have no regrets of the past and no fears of the future. You are living in the present, in right at this moment. The passing second is mine. This passing second is only mine. And let's enjoy it, and enjoy it in the gratitude. Stay in the gratitude that he's always there. Trust him and keep submitting to him. Whatever name you call him. And like a mom, he's always there. He is always there. every relation of this earth. They can ditch you, they can leave you. Even the loving parents have to leave someday, or the loving kids sometimes, or any other friends. At some day or some way or somehow they may leave you. But it is the only your master creator. Whenever you call him, even if your plane is suddenly faulty and you are falling from the sky, or you are in the middle of the sea and your ship is going to wreck, and right at that moment, if you call him, he's there.
Yes.
You don't have to dial a particular number. You don't have to search for that direction. You don't have to do any special, some kind of preparation. You immediately call him inside your heart and he is there. So sometimes if we are keeping focus at him, this one step towards him covers the miles and miles and miles of thousands and thousands of miles. They are finished and you are with him within fraction of seconds. And if you are not focused, you will lost in this whole, I will say this space, and you are wavered, you are directionless, and this hardly, I would say, few inches, you are not covering this distance. And it is your own self. It is your own self. You have to connect yourself. And any spiritual mentor can do this maximally to let you meet your own self. Any master guru, this is their main guidance, to give you awareness of your own self. We all should love our own selves, and we should realize and appreciate our own selves. Who am I? Is this body called Dr. Javed? No. If right now I gonna die, my family, even my friends, they will call, dispose of the body. Who will give the shower to body? Let's cover the body. Let's bury the body. But nobody will say Javed. So who is Javed and where he is? This body is sitting right now in Pakistan, in Lahore, in Model Town, but where is Javed inside it? Right from this head top or hairs to the toenails, I think I usually live in some space in between this area. I am thinking or I am feeling myself, and I'm talking to my mentor or my Lord or my Allah or my Rabb or my God. So he's always there, listening to my thoughts even. Before expression to anyone in this world, he knows my expression, my needs, my thoughts, and it's a beautiful relationship. The most nearest. Most
the beauty of Sufism, which I missed, because I mean, so many of the Western spiritual concepts are derived from the Eastern spiritualities. But I think the part that we miss in the spiritual Western spirituality is, Sufis, the level of devotion that Sufis have. It's about, I am nothing. I am nothing. I am gonna, I will annihilate myself into you. And I will, I am dust and you are everything. I mean, their level of devotion, that love, that ishq, that craziness, you don't find that in Western spirituality, because in Western spirituality, somehow it's more about the I am self, or the I am, which I don't, I've never been able to resonate with that, because if I am God, then I should be able to do all of these things. I should be able to cure corona. I should be able to do all that stuff. But, the I am concept, it's pretty common in Western spirituality. But so the Sufi devotion, it just, the Sufi just keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper into annihilating themselves. And the more they annihilate themselves, the more they lower themselves, the more you actually see those are the real spiritual masters that have amazing spiritual powers and stuff like that. But that's a whole different discussion that, you have to have with people that are just crazy about, drunk with God's love. They're crazy people. But I have a bunch of questions, Dr. Saab, lots of questions here. Some of
you can
them
ask.
some of them were asked. You answered those, so I'm gonna summarize these. So some people have asked me privately also if they can, does it matter if they listen with headphones, or does it have to be heard, through a mic,
No,
speakers?
whatever they want.
Good, very good. Do we have to focus on what we want healed? So while they're listening, do they have to focus on what they want to, what they're requesting healing for?
Sometimes some people, if they are saying some cancer patients or some other patients, they are feeling severe pain in their certain part of the body. And I tell them, okay, you can, while listening, you just keep your focus towards your pain. The pain is actually friend. I usually tell them, love the pain and make this pain your friend. And this pain will lead you to the marvelous world. And okay, while listening, you just keep focus on your pain or the problem area, whatever you think like, or if it is not a body pain, it might be a social pain or a financial pain or a relationship pain, or but you just surrender yourself to your larger self, the creator, the Lord inside you. You just get connected to him first. It is the love, it is game of love. So become unconditional, become zero, and just love it. Just surrender yourself. Even if you have done any wrongdoings in the past, whatever, you were a drug abuser, you were maybe a child molester, or you did many wrong things in the past. If today you are in a problem, you are in a fix, and now you are searching for a messiah, for a rescuer to get you out of that mess, or if you are a very much oppressed person, you are a pious person, very much oppressed person, and someone is oppressing you like anything, or blackmailing you anything, or you are at the end of the street, or you have no way to go. So go inside. Go inside. This side will always be open. Go inside, and this 10th door, we all humans have 9 doors usually in our body. But this 10th door, it will open. You just go inside and connect to your own self. And if the Western ideology you are talking, that they usually talk about I am the Lord or power or whatever, might be they all are Mansoor Hallaj. So they are speaking from a higher pedestal, might be. Because I never had such discussions, because I am not I never claimed to be a Sufi or a spiritualist, or I am just an ordinary person with medical science as my qualification, medical teacher, associate professor, and intensivist, ICU there, and emergency medicine doctor, and that's it. And a father of my 3 kids, and a loving wife, and one my Babaji, and my mom and my family, and living a normal life. So I was not interested ever, and not even today, in some kind of spiritual gains or highs or lows, because wherever Allah is keeping me, or the Lord is keeping me, I am. So never interested in these even discussions of someone gave me this Shams's book, and I love Shams.
Shams Tabriz.
I love Shams. Yeah, Shams Tabriz, the Rumi's master, and the Rumi, and Iqbal, and many poets. But Ghalib in Urdu, they are champions, and the Sufi poets, the Mia Muhammad Baksh is my and in the recent times, not poets, but prose writers, Wasif Ali Wasif as Suchal Fakir, and then this man, Mumtaz Mufti Saab, he's a Suchal Fakir. These 2 people. Wow. So anyone understands Urdu? Only one book of Mufti, last book, Talash, would be enough for him. And Wasif is the gem, any book of Wasif. And one book which Mufti very much adored, it is written by Maulana Gul Hassan in Urdu. It is Tazkira Gausiya. Just read it from cover to cover, and that is enough. Mufti Sahib, someone asked Mufti, you have such a big library. If there is a sudden emergency or fire in your library, which one book you want to save and ran away? He said Tazkira Gausiya. So I read it once from cover to cover, and some part I did not understand. It is also talking about black magic and different spiritual exercises and all these things. But once I finished it, the take-home message was beautiful, our full book. And my Babaji usually, he never recommended books, but this book he recommends me to read. And otherwise, he usually say, read your own self. Read your own self and love your own self.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is the best book, and that is the book you have to read ultimately. That is the best book, and that is the book which will help you. And you should know your powers, and at the same time your limitations, at the same time your connection through the internet with the master IP, or you can say the net provider, or whatever you say. Someone is there. The question is whether we need Lord. Someone asked me this question a few days back, that what do you think? Do we need Lord, or Lord needs us? So I have many naughty people around, youngsters with so much energy with them, and they are in our society, the questioning to ask the question, such question is sometimes considered blasphemous, and they might be in big trouble. So usually families don't like such kids.
Sorry? They should have the freedom to ask. They should.
Yes, but in our society and many of the, even in their homes, they are not allowed. And sometimes they do get this state of mind that many of them are on either drugs or on the antipsychotics or under the this psychiatrist treatment, and families or autistic kids from UK or USA. And many moms contact me from there, and this particular topic I am interested in, because always I tell them, okay, will you share your story? Will you narrate your story? Or will you tell others that how your kid got cured? And many times the first question would be, do you think he will be cured? Autism spectrum, ADHD will be cured? I say, usually my sentence is, once you get cured, your kid will be cured. Doctor, no, I am not sick. I am talking about my kid. I say, no. Once you cured, the parents cured, kid will be cured. It's not the kid, but the parents are sick. So sometimes it's a very harsh sentence, and few people might get offended and might not like it. But after maybe I give them some time to absorb it and reflect on it. So maybe state of denial for 1 day or 2 days or maximally 3 days. Then they start admitting. And if they say, I usually ask them that, okay, if you want to see the quick results, do you have this grandmother and grandfather of this child, Dadi Amma or Dada Abu, the mother of your mother-in-law is alive? And the moms usually say, yes, she is, but she's in the other part of the world, or in Pakistan or in India or in another state of USA. But why you are asking about her? I says, okay, if you want to see the quick results or a quick change, put this boy in her lap and then tell me that what you are saying. Let him play near her. Let him make a bond with her. Give him to her for some time, and you will see immediate results. Doctor, what you want to say, how it can be possible? What are you saying? It is autism. The many doctors told me you have to live like this, and this is abnormal. And always I correct them. But ladies, listen to me. He is never say he is abnormal. He is not normal. He is super normal. You people do not understand him, and he is having a much higher IQ and much focused than all the other people in your home. And then they say, yes, he is so much focused. Whenever he is asking for something, we have to give it to him, finally. So whatever thing he wants to do, he ultimately will do it. So, but we don't like it. This is sometimes it is very much difficult for us to handle. And sometimes he's so much screaming or crying or aggressive or inattentive. And most of the time, he's not putting attention to us and he's not interested in surroundings like that. So, just for a short shock to them and a small exercise, I tell them, okay, put him into the lap of his granny or grandmother or grandfather, but mostly grandmother. So if they are already dead or they are not available, so then I told them, okay, you parents start listening Surah Rahman and don't play it near this kid. It may get him more agitated or more hyper. Sometimes they say, no, doctor, he is also very much attentive to it. And whenever he comes, he was so much angry, but suddenly once we were listening to it, he was himself very much attentive. And this is surprising for us. I says, okay, you continue with it. Or sometimes I use Qasida Burda Sharif, whatever the condition they are telling me. So I am doing this all on telephones. And one lady yesterday, like you from Germany, she was doing my interview on Sunday. And she disclosed to me that, doctor, it is because of your one video on autism. And then I just applied this all on my kid and myself and my husband. And I corrected myself. I repented on my mistakes. This repentance gave me the self-realization of my own shortcomings. Then with repentance and submission, I also forgave many other people, which I have thought in my heart for many years that I will never ever forgive. But once I realized your ideology or your message, I forgave all. Rather, I prayed for them. I prayed for them with love, and most of them were the blood relations of my kid. And immediate great change came in my son, or my autistic son. And I cannot thank you enough for this, such a big change. My autistic kid is now going to school and there is a big change. I cannot tell you or express you how much I am excited to meet you in Pakistan. So when I am waiting, when I can come over from Germany to Pakistan, and she's also a spiritual lady, but with big scarf, head scarf. But the way she was expressing her gratitude and love towards me, I was afraid that her husband might not like it. But she was just excited. And she's a pure love. She is so pure in her expression. And she realized the message, she was a beautiful heart, a very kind heart. And she must have suffered in the past, but she forgave ultimately. The moment she forgave, she was pain-free, she was load-free, and this extra burden which was she was carrying with her soul, she was suddenly free of it. And the boy or the baby is connected to mom more than the father. 75% spiritually, mother is sometimes taking over the kid. So the moment mother gets into the balance is the health. Even if you are spiritually overcharged, it will harm you as well as your kid, if he or she is so much spiritually attached to you. Because this physical bond, once the baby is coming out of the womb of mom and after the delivery, so the doctors or nurses, they will clip the cord, the natal cord. That is the physical bond. The mom's blood was nurturing the baby or kid in her home. But now, after that, till the age of 12, the mother's thought process and 25% father's thought process, they can control him. They are connected with him. But if they are connected more than the required, this over connection or over protection, you can say, or over possessiveness will harm his health. They have to let him free and rely on Lord or the ultimate master or the real mom or father or the owner of that baby. So once they surrender it to him or her, the baby will immediately change. It is all in our thought process. This is all in our thought process. We have to clean it and we have to keep it focused. We should surrender in front of our Lord or the creator and becomes zero to him, like the raindrop falls into the sea. It surrendered itself into the sea. It is now part of sea. It is in the ocean, but the kind of, you were saying annihilation, self-annihilation of Sufis.
Yeah.
So it is surrender, it is fana. But now it is with baka of that ocean or that water. It is part of that shore, that sea. So similarly, if you surrendered in your thoughts, in your heart, towards your master creator inside, that focus, the qaim namaz. Namaz or salah is to look at your creator all the time, 24 hours. And God-fearing word is, I would say, I never liked it. How come God could be feared? He is. I never feared my mom. This was my question from my youngest son when he was 6 or 7 years old. One day I just came from hospital, and his mother was like in a routine scolding him that you are the most naughty one and you are the most careless one and your result is again not good and you are now still not listening to me. The moment I was that tired, the moment I entered the home, you realize, you know, the Pakistani homes and our cultures. So I get further annoyed. What nonsense is going on? And this boy is always careless, and his mother is asthmatic, and sometimes she goes into the, she's having brittle asthma. So this emotional state might trigger it. So why this man is always creating this problem? He was 5, 6 years, very careless man. So I just snubbed him. That I said in Punjabi, but anyway, I just snubbed him. Why you are not improving? Take care and be careful, and I will see you. Like I said, I just went into the washroom. I came to the dining table. I had to take my lunch, and just in a state of that scolding, during that scolding, I just told him, "Tumhe khuda ka koi khauf nahi hai. Don't you fear the Lord?" So I just said it in a routine. And once I started my meals, he came to me. And he said, Baba, I said, yes. How much dreadful or drowna in Punjabi, he said. How much dreadful or drowna is Allah? I said, what a saying nonsense. Never say like this. Allah is the most beautiful. He created so much beauty. How he can be drowna or dreadful? He said, you just said. I said, no, I didn't say. He said, you just said it. And sometimes this Qari Sahib, he was coming to our home, very old man, for teaching them Quran. So he said, he also so many times say to me, "Tumhe Allah ka khauf nahi hai." Baba, how much Allah is drowna or fear, dreadful.
Why should we be scared of him? Yeah.
And he was like just cool and calm. And I now today realize that through him, Allah taught me a lesson, and he forced me to think that what I am saying, it is not like that. So I said to him, no, gentleman, I didn't mean it. I mean to say that we should not be naughty, that God, Lord may get angry. He said, no, but many times you are telling us and many other people on telephone, you are telling the Lord is loving you more than 70 moms. So, Baba, I never had a fear from my mom. Hey, so what you want to say to me? So he said, why you are saying Allah is dreadful or we should be fearful for him? So now it was a big problem for me to answer this young mind. If I say don't fear Allah, he will be more naughty. If I say he's very much fearsome, Allah is very fearsome, then this boy will say that why should I go near him? He is so much fearsome. Suddenly this point came in my mind. I said, okay, so your mom is fearsome or dreadful? He said, no. Did your moms? My mom is also living with us. Amiji is also he calls her Amiji. So he said, Amiji, I even don't feel any fear from Ammi ji. Ammi ji is so lovely. Ammi ji itni pyari hai. I said, so similarly, Allah is more lovely than these moms. He said, that's the point I am telling you, Baba. Why you people are saying, why you are not fearing Allah? Baba, how come I can fear Allah? So that was a 6 years old kid. And then he just left like a winner.
Kids have more wisdom than we do. They have a natural.
Yes. And he just left me like walking like a winner. And suddenly this point came in my mind, and I also followed him. I went in his room and I said, listen to me. Why you were fearful when I came inside home and you ran away when your mom was coming out of the kitchen and shouting like anything? He started laughing and he said, Baba, it is the anger of the mom from which I am afraid of. I never want to make her angry, but these things happened from me. I don't know. So I never want to make her angry. I love her. She's my beloved. She said. He said, she's my beloved, and nobody wants to make the beloved angry. I said, this is the answer to your question. Allah is our beloved, but we should not make him or her angry because of any of our deeds. And usually those deeds are the wrongdoings to others.
Yes.
Like one kid or one sibling is problematic for others, creating problems for others or teasing them or oppressing them or whatever. So that makes the mom annoyed. It is not the self of mom. You can ask many services from mom round the clock and she will be always happy to provide you, particularly in your childhood days. Anything, anytime. This is the mom. And the Lord, he is expressing his love. The unit of love is mom's love because it is unconditional love.
Beautiful explanation. I love it. And we have many questions. I'm going to try to combine some of these, but we still have many questions.
Okay, I'm sitting.
So one of the question I see repeated is that, somebody like what you mentioned earlier with that, the question I had sent you today, this morning, which is a lady, by the way. So if they're doing it, many people have already reported. One person says they're seeing a shrinkage in their tumors, in the brain tumor. They've been doing it for 3 days. They're already seeing results. But there are many people that are saying they're not seeing results. So if they've been doing it for 3, 4, 5, or 7 days, but didn't see results, typically, what do you find to be the cause why they're not seeing results?
If they have already completed 7 days, they give 1 day gap. On 8th day, don't listen it. You repeat it for 7 days, maybe once a day only, but this time, just do self-check. Have you cleaned your heart? Have you forgave all of your near and dear ones? There should be not a hint of hatred inside your heart. Just please forgive all. That's why sometimes people call it forgiveness therapy. Just forgive all, and how to forgive others. Whosoever ever hurt you or all of your adversaries, particularly your might be parents, one of your parents, or your siblings, your elder brothers or younger sisters, or your in-laws or your outlaws, or your colleagues or friends or relations or kids, whosoever. Just forgive all the creation, all the creatures for the sake of Creator. Creator loves its creation like anything. Mom loves all the 5 kids, whether one is PhD, another is a frequent jail goer, or one is a policeman, another is a thief or a drug abuser. But for mom, she is concerned for all. And usually for the naughty ones, moms are more concerned. He sent more than 100,000 prophets just for the sinners. And this therapy is from a sinner for the sinners. So we all are wrongdoers, but we are very good. Usually have very good excuses for our own wrongdoings, but we are very strict judges for others.
Yes.
So just for your own sake, just for your own peace of mind, just for your healing, you just as a gift give this forgiveness to Lord. Forgive the cheaters or the adversaries or the usurpers or the whatever your enemies, whether you know them or you don't know them. Maybe they were just jealous people. They never expressed, but they were jealous inside, and their energy hurted you and damaged you. You just forgive them. How? By praying for them. Pray for them wholeheartedly. So that will clean your heart. The number one step. You just forgive all for the sake of Lord, for the sake of Creator. Forgive all the creation. There should be no hatred, revenge, envy, or any kind of negative thinking for anyone else. You say in your heart, you feel him inside, you feel your creator inside in your breathing or in your coming and going breaths or in your heartbeat. You just concentrate on it. That, believe you me, he is always listening and seeing. That creator is always listening and seeing well within you. He is well within us, more near to us that more than anything he is near to us, more than near than these clothes. So just go inside, connect to this energy inside, and no need of long meditation or anything else. Just believe it that he is listening to you. And in your thoughts, talk to him. No need for this tongue even. In your thoughts, talk to him that, oh Allah, or oh Lord, or oh God, or oh Bhagwan, I forgave all of my enemies from the core of my heart, and I beg it from you to please bless them. You also bless them with more and more and more blessings of whatever you want. So clean your heart from that side. Now, all your good deeds, if you have good deeds in your life, whatever good deeds you have in your life, you surrender all your good deeds also to your Lord. Why? For what? You say, whatever I prayed or did the good deeds by feeding some poor or help some needy one or some downtrodden people or whatever you did, or even if you have mended some broken heart or helped someone unconditionally, so surrender those good deeds to your Lord as a gift and say, that might be in my life till today, I have hurt any of your the creatures. So in my life, if I have ever knowingly or unknowingly, intentionally or unintentionally, if I have ever hurt someone and he or she is not forgiving me while sitting in another part of the world or maybe in my next room of my own house, oh Lord, please give my good deeds to that gentleman or that gentleman. Whatever amount you think is the most appropriate compensation. So that energy you transfer to him. So at least his or her heart also gets softer for me, and he also forgave me or she also forgave me whatever I did in the past when I was also an ignorant. So just do these two things. Number one, you forgave all. You forgave all by surrendering.
علم القرآن خلق الإنسان علمه البيان